Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Rachel Cush, and I usually blog and video about recipes and eco living, but today I'm going to share with you my twin journey. I love all things healthy and homemade, and so I thought it'd be really cool while I was pregnant with twins to document my journey and how I'm getting through it and how it's going. Today's video is on actually how we found out we were having twins. So I don't want to make this a super long video because I want to do a wrap up of like my first trimester with twins, my second trimester with twins as I'm in it, and then some other stuff like what I'm eating and if I'm exercising. But today's video is just how I found out. So you'll have to pardon if you hear like a little bit of a mechanic sound every once in a while. My camera for some reason is freaking out and the autofocus is really loud. Also, I have a little bit of a lisp because I have Invisalign, and I usually don't wear them when I'm talking on a video, but whatever stage I'm in, I have like a big gap in the middle of my teeth, and so it looked kind of odd, so I was like, well, I'll just put them in and deal with the lisp. So welcome to how I found out I was having twins. So a little recap, I have been married for about a year and a half, and my husband and I have been together for 4 years. Matt is amazing, and we've both wanted children, and so we had talked about trying to have kids this year. I came off of birth control in the fall, and I had been on for about 14 years. So the beginning of our journey, I was waiting to have 3 cycles, which put us in about December. After I came off birth control, just to build like the uterine lining back up, I had already met with my doctor. We were on prenatals, folic acid, just to make sure everything was like right. Had my blood levels tested to make sure everything looked good. So in December, when we were going to start trying, I actually had 2 cycles, and they were very close together. I want to say like only 14 days apart. So when I was trying to track my ovulation, that really threw us off. I was like, woof, I don't like, right when I thought I was going to be ovulating, I actually got a second period in December. And so I was just like, okay, December is a wash. And then because it was just off in January, I was traveling a lot. It was also my birthday, and January is probably not going to be the best month for us to like really track. I was using an app, and I was using a thermometer for a little while, but the thermometer was obnoxious, so I stopped using that and just used an app that kind of estimated between when your last period was and then what was going on. In January, around my birthday when I was home, we just weren't trying. We were just like, let January be January, and then in February, once we have a regular period in January, we'll just track and go from there. About 2 weeks later though, not even, maybe less than 2 weeks later, I started feeling very weird and off. I was bloated. I felt like I was having trouble eating stuff and felt a little more tired than usual. After about 3 days where I kind of felt like out of my own body, like I was like, who am I? Like it was just a really odd feeling. I tracked my cycle so that I knew I was about 5 days before my missed period. I went and got early detection pregnancy tests, and I knew that those can have like a 50-50 chance of being accurate when it's that far out. I also knew that it can be very faint, but even a faint line means you're pregnant. So I was like, well, at least maybe I'll know and I'll take another one in a day or two. So when my husband was at work, I took the pregnancy test, and within seconds, it was bright pink. The second line showed up, and it was just like pregnant. I took another one afterwards because I was like, whoa. Unexpected for January, it happened, and I felt like a lot of it happened because we weren't really trying, and I was like, wow, maybe I was really relaxed. I thought I was going to be really stressed out. And then I called my doctor, and we made an appointment for about when I was 8 weeks, the Saturday that I turned 8 weeks. My doctor is so amazing and actually has Saturday hours one time a month. It is the best thing ever. So we scheduled it then, and I went the next couple weeks to my Zumba classes. I was eating really healthy. I was having salad and protein and eating really balanced, still getting my greens in. And then about 2 weeks afterwards, I was still doing, I did a couple Zumba classes and a couple warm yoga classes. I didn't do hot yoga because at that point I knew I wasn't supposed to be in like really hot situations. They had like a warm yoga to help you like loosen up, but not like raise your body temperature crazy. The sickness hit me like a brick wall. By week, I want to say 5, I was really ill. I was having trouble getting out of bed. I felt like walking my dog a half a mile in the morning was just, I was exhausted. I felt exhausted all day. I also was sick all day. I was dry heaving morning, noon, and night. I was having trouble eating foods. The smell of almost anything was making me dry heave. I even walked outside one day and it was cold out and I breathed in really deeply and it made me throw up. It was just, everything was like setting me off. So it was a rough couple weeks. Week 7, my husband got a stomach flu. We tried to kind of like stay quarantined, but that's almost impossible when you live with someone and you have to pass in and out of the same doors and go in and out of the same bathroom and refrigerator. So I ended up getting it 3 days before I had our appointment for our first ultrasound. So I unfortunately was really sick. I had a fever. I was in bed for 3 days, really miserable. And I was just like, man, this pregnancy is rough. Like, pregnancy is no joke. Like, when people say morning sickness, they mean all day sickness. So anyways, I was having a rough time. I just knew that I had to get a couple more days I could talk to my doctor. When I had talked to her originally, she had said that, you might start to feel a little bit tired. And then also that if I wasn't experiencing cramping, I could, and that was okay as long as it wasn't really accompanied by anything else, because it could be implantation cramping. And so I had that for over a week. She said a couple days, but it lasted, I want to say almost 10 days for me. Right when I thought it was over, like it felt like it started up again, like after day 4 or 5. So I did have a lot of cramping in the beginning. So I was just like, I can't wait to talk to her about my symptoms and just make sure everything's normal, especially because I lost a little bit of weight when I was sick with a stomach flu. So on the day that we went to our 8-week ultrasound, we went out to breakfast. I tried to get a little bit of something in me that could stay down. I had some dried toast, I think some orange juice. Just basically, I was living on applesauce and saltines and orange juice and oranges. Like, for some reason, oranges were everything. So we had breakfast, and someone else I knew at the time is pregnant, had been like, I was so scared on the way to my ultrasound. I kept thinking, oh my gosh, what if there's more than one in there? And I just asked him, I said, are there twins in your family? And he said, no. Are there twins in yours? I said, no, I don't think so. We're good. Had like this weird bout of paranoia on the way there where I was just like, we are not going to have twins. Like, there's just going to be one baby in there. We're going to be so excited. We're going to hear, a heartbeat. So we drive all the way there. And I get to my appointment, I get weighed, my blood pressure taken, we go into the ultrasound room, and she's asking me about how I've been feeling, and I kind of just relayed like how rough it had been. And she's like, pregnancy can hit super hard. Some people, get so sick that they end up dehydrated and in the hospital, and then some people have no pregnancy symptoms at all. And for those people, lucky, that's amazing. And for anybody who ends up hospitalized from it, I'm so sorry. Like, I can definitely see how that happens now. It's so rough, like keeping stuff down. I mean, literally on the way driving there, we had to pull over and I was like dry heaving outside of the car. Like, my heart goes out to you. So like I said, I told her about the symptoms and she was just like, everybody's different, because I was concerned that they had come on so early. And she's like, no, it's just different for everybody. So we go in the ultrasound room and we had a transvaginal ultrasound because the babies were so small and they wanted to make sure they could get a really good picture. My husband turned the light off in the room and the doctor had the screen turned towards her and she's looking and smiling. And then she turns the screen back to us and I see a flash on the screen and it didn't look like the ultrasound pictures I had seen before. My husband kind of was like, I could tell he was like inquisitive about like what he was looking at, and the doctor started laughing, and she was like not laughing out loud, but like just like giggling. She was like, like excited about something, and I was like, what is so funny? Like, what could be happening in my uterus that's hilarious? And she goes, this is my third set of twins this week. And I realize I'm looking at the screen, and the screen I'm looking at two lines, a line down the center, because there's actually two sacs and two babies in the photo, in the ultrasound screen. So I was just really, really shocked at that point. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, there's two in there. And I am like, no, you're joking, And she's like, well, I wouldn't joke about this. And I start to get up off the table, like I'm leaning forward, and she's pushing me back down very gently. She's like, you're okay, you're okay. And I just start bawling. Like, I lose it. I'm overwhelmed with the news. Like, I'm overwhelmed because I'm like, something that I never thought that would happen, like all of a sudden just happened. And my husband's just like, wow, there's two. And he's looking at me, and I can tell he was being a rock, and I'm just like losing it. So she's going over that they're measuring great. They each have their own, as she said, their own little house. That's super great because we want them to each have their own blood supply and their own amniotic sac. And it just brings the risk, well, even though all multiples are considered high risk, when they have their own sac and own placenta and they're not sharing anything, the risk goes down a lot. So all that was great news, but I was still like really shocked by the news. I spent most of the ultrasound just like crying with tears like running down my face, like totally in shock basically. And then she went out to take a phone call after our ultrasound was over and came back with some other literature for us to take home and read. They upped my iron and they took about, I swear it was like 8 vials of blood. I was on the table for so long, and usually I don't do good with needles, but at this point I was just like in a daze. It didn't even matter. Like, I was just like, oh, okay, whatever's happening is happening. And I kept asking my husband, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And he's like, we're going to have twins. I'm like, do we know what we're doing? Like, we don't even know how to have one baby, like much less two. And he's like, we're going to have to figure it out. And so, like, I'm just really appreciative that he, like, kept his calm and cool the whole time because I was losing it. And when she came back, she's like, have you had a chance to calm down a little? Are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I think so. She's like, this is normal. Like, this is so normal. Start reading up, get some information, make yourself feel better. And so that's what we did. We left. I told a couple people. I felt like I was in a different world, like, telling people, like, that we already knew we were pregnant. Like, oh, how did your ultrasound go? It's twins. Great. Like, it's twins. So that was how we found out. It was definitely shocking. For about a week afterwards, I was still in shock. Like, I'm saying, like, I would wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I'm having twins. Every single day I would just wake up and be like that, just in a daze. And so, by our 12-week ultrasound, I definitely started making plans and adjustments and reading up on having twins. The first week, I watched so many YouTube videos, which actually inspired me to make this YouTube video because I watched other people who were vloggers and YouTubers talk about their pregnancy, finding out they were pregnant with twins. Their reaction made me feel like, wow, like, everybody's different, but like, it is a shocking thing, and it's exciting, and it's wild, but you're just like having a normal reaction. I felt kind of bad because I was like so overwhelmed by it when I was truly grateful. It was just such a rocking, like, bit of information, like your whole world just doubled. And so that's why I decided to make this video, because I hope the videos that help me, I hope this video helps someone else who's going through maybe the first couple weeks after they just found out they're pregnant with twins. The scariest, most exciting time of my life so far. Since then, I've watched so much stuff on like what to expect in the second and third trimesters, lots of birthing vlogs, lots of first months blogs of twins. It's really encouraging and amazing to see other people going through this like incredible thing. And all pregnancies are so incredible. I was already overwhelmed and like baffled that my body was creating a baby, but now to know that it's creating two, I'm just like, woof, I'm in a different world. So yeah, that is how we found out. At our 12-week ultrasound, we came back and the doctor was like, I'm so happy to see you smiling. Most people leave crying when they find out twins and they come back happy. So it's good to see that you've adjusted. And I definitely felt like I had definitely adjusted a lot, but it was thanks to me reading a little more about it, truly understanding what we were about to go through and what we were embarking on, and then also watching other people talk about their experience. So I plan on making a couple more videos in this series. One of my first trimester symptoms. The other one would be probably like how my second trimester is going, third trimester update, and then I'm hoping to do just little videos on like what I'm eating now that I'm finally eating more balanced and not just eating like oranges and toast all day, and what I'm doing for exercise and all that. So I'm so excited to take you guys along on this journey. Thanks for tuning in on how we found out we had twins. I can't wait to share more of our journey with you next time. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, turn on the notification bell if you want to follow along with my journey so you don't miss any of the videos. And thank you for coming along. I can't wait to share this journey with you. Bye.